Hi guys, I'm the 1 in 1.3, welcome to the family. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you around our multifunctional room, which will be classed as our classroom, our office, our schoolhouse, my tuition centre, the place that I do my business. My daughter runs her business in there as well. It's also got the youth room. So quite a few labels there, but join me as I show you around. Did you put all your toys here for me to play? Did you? Bailey? Hello? Bailey, did you put these toys here? That was so cute. I came outside, he put all his toys here, all three of them. He piled them up. Actually, the water here is drinking water. So my dad made sure that he connected all the water pipes, you know, from the right pipes basically. So this water is drinking water, but we hardly ever drink from it. And yeah, so you've got a sink, you've got your toilet, got a cupboard up here. This just contains my inks and like toilet paper and things like that, and some random wires. And also I keep my mops, brooms and things like that in this corner over here for any spillages. Let's start off with the first room. So this room over here, I'm really not going to show you around because it's my daughter's room and it's not very tidy. So she's got a lot of work to do in here. So today she needs to tidy up. She's got to sort out her rabbit area. And this is where she does her work, but she needs to sort this out. And then that's where she keeps her keyboard and a black bag full of materials. So not very interesting. So I'll leave that for another day. And when it's tidy, I will show you how that room functions. In here, this room is like if the children need a quiet time or quiet space, and come in here and do some work at the tables over here. That's for our homeschool day. When I'm working, I have a lady that I employ as well who works with me. She works in here with another child. So she will sit over here with the child and the child will sit over here, and they get one-to-one learning during our group slots. This is where I keep my printer. This is where I keep all my different equipments. So this one just has loads of resources that I use for my lessons and some of the children's folders that they use for creative writings in here. I've got loads of Velcro spots in here that I use for my learning folders. In this cupboard, this is where every child has their own folder in here, and this is where I keep all their work. So when they do their work and I've marked their work, I just keep it all separate for them. So they have their workbooks in here. They have like worksheets that they might have done that I'll go back to at a later date to check how they're getting on with it. That's SATs paper. And then I have like a file at the back where I keep all my children's work that have come in the past, any work that we do in class. I have a marking system in my class where I mark, we colour all the ticks in pink, everything wrong is in green, so then they can always go back and focus on the work that they've done that's in green. So this is more, not really homeschooling, this is more about my tuition business that I run. I always like to leave a positive comment and then a focused area, something to focus on. So you've got a positive comment here, so saying good job, and then the focus will be focused on your handwriting, and you can see why. Yeah, so I just kind of like to hold on to some of my books so I can show new parents the sort of things that we do in class. Oh, I remember this child's book. I really like this child, the way he worked. Yeah, and also this is a method that I use from the ACE curriculum. So what happens is every time the work is wrong, which is in green, we then correct the work together, and I put a circle around it to show that it's been corrected. No work that's in green ever goes unchecked. They can't move on until we've corrected all the mistakes. That's a really important concept for my business. For this child, as we did that, I noticed with this child, he started getting a lot more pink pen. He started to really understand different concepts. Did good. This cupboard is where I keep like more resources. So I've got like spelling books that I give to each child when they come. This is a vocabulary book they all get at the beginning of the year. I hold on to all workbooks, even if they were used before. I tend to rip out the first pages and reuse. Oh, that shouldn't be in there. Yeah, so it's probably a book that is no longer needed. So I'd rip out this first page and then reuse these other pages with any more of my students. It's just a way of saving paper, really. Yeah, so I just keep things like this, reading records and random things like this inside here. Extra photocopies of work. So I've got like my handwriting that I can use for the children. got some SATs papers back there. These are all unused, but I just use them in my lessons. And then the bottom drawer is where I keep all my my guillotine, my laminator, my binding rings in different shapes and sizes. And I also have a binder back here as well, my comb binder machine that I use for my business. Down here I've got my envelopes. These envelopes are very large, and they're large enough to fit an A4 folder in there. So when anyone buys a folder, I can just put it inside the envelope and send it off to them. Got to do what you can to make money, especially when you're homeschooling. I have 2 hooks because I teach 4 children in the lessons. So there's 4 over here and there's 4 over here. This is where I tend to keep my laptop bag, my normal bag. I should really do a what's in my bag what's in my bag video, because I keep the most random things in here. And actually I've also got the TV remote in my bag. I'm talking a bit quiet because my son's studying next door. And then one of my students left a coat behind. A whole coat and scarf. This is my display board. Oops. This is my display board. It's a bit bare right now, but I will put things up there for the children just to, you know, motivate them a bit more. And I have a 5-step guide to successful hand washing on the door of the bathroom. And then here's a classroom. I'm not sure what you really want to see, so if you just message me, let me know what you want me to see, I can show you. I like to keep cards up to remind myself of, you know, to motivate myself of my teaching, that I'm doing a good job and people are happy with my teaching. In this section over here, I keep any used places that the children have completed. That stays at the very top. The first shelf, it deals with all my IEW curriculum. I'm an accredited instructor in the UK. It also has lots of classical education books. It's in this top layer. Loads of hand gels. I love this. Life is for loving family. And then the rest of the shelf is just literally got loads of books. I have a lot of Christian books, lots of apologetic type books where you defend the faith, talk to people about the faith. As you go down to the next shelf, it's the same sort of things: evidence for the Bible, the wonders of creation. I've got a lot of Black history books here as well, about Jamaica, Africa is not a country, streams of civilization. Got my Dave Ramsey books. I always talk about the Dave Ramsey books. The School of Biblical Evangelism, It Couldn't Just Happen. It's a really good book as well. This one's quite an interesting one for the times that we're living in now, actually, already gone. It's about why your kids will quit church and what you can do about it. That tends to be about teens, because a lot of my ministry, a lot of my testimony came from this book over here, actually. This is what started off my homeschool journey. This book, Raising Godly Children in an Ungodly World. And this book was what really kind of caused me to have that deep conviction about homeschooling my children. Yeah, there's lots of good books, but what I find with the books that I read, they're not all from the same point of view. So I like to read books from a different point of view and just always pray to God and ask him to help me to know what he wants me to understand from it. Second shelf, same sort of things, really. Lots more Black history things, books over there. This one is amazing. One Human Family. I love this one. It talks about the Bible, science, race and culture. And it's so, I haven't gone through all of it, but it's so in depth. Just in terms of people, where we all came from, the first man, races and the origin debate. This boy here, Otter Benga, we've learned about him with the children. They put him in a human zoo. Talk a lot about Darwinism, the effects on racism, like with the evolutionary effects, because I think it's a very racist theory. Anyway, I won't go through all my books, otherwise I'll be here all day. That's where I keep my books. This is where I keep my materials that I make for my own curriculum. So I've got my own curriculum that I'm building. I've got a video about this one as well, about my Black history curriculum. But all of these, I've got things that need to be printed out for different subjects within my curriculum, basically. I keep my whiteboards down here, paper down here. More books that the children have read, books that the children have chosen. This is where I keep all my goal settings to see what the children have done. I just kind of tick them off when I know the children have completed them. And I've got a lot more ticking off to do because they've completed a lot more now. And that's when they've finished off both of these, I've got all the ticks filled in, then they would have completed their whole ICCEs, which is really good. Right, so over here, this is their work chart. They basically just tick off the work that they've done. So this is what a complete chart looks like. I have an updated one that needs to have the stickers put on it as well. And then over here, I have a 5-minute timer and a 30-minute timer, which is really good for my students to help them to focus on their learning. There's an elf in the corner. And then down here, I have my reference books, my dictionaries, thesauruses, what else? Synonym finder. Malaya keeps complaining that my dictionaries need updaters. So if anyone can recommend a really good dictionary for advanced learners, please let me know. This is where the children come, my students come after school, and they place all their homework in here, and then my teaching assistant, she then marks it for me. More books down there. Then down here, this section over here is Tiago's section with his paces that he needs to complete next year. He's going to be finished by May or June, which is good. And then Malaya has her section over here. They both do the creative writing course on a Tuesday. And then more paces up here, more information about learning. Lots of Bibles that I have, all different translations. I remember when Tiago moved on to this Bible, he used to have the action Bible, the picture Bible, and then when he got older, a little bit older, I got him this, the official Bible, but it still had the comics in there. I'm a Bible. I'm so into the Bible, aren't I? So he still has the comic sections in the book as well. So I remember that, but he still uses this one. You know, Bible's a Bible at the end of the day. I've also got the Jamaican Patois Bible, the New Testament one. This one's quite cool. I'm not going to try to read it, but I can. Ha ha ha, I just don't like trying to put the accent on. And then this is where my students come, the times that I work, the books that they need, that's all there. Loads more workbooks down here. I feel like I've got the whole W.H. Smiths over there. And then more books down there. So loads of books in this classroom. I feel like it should be called a library instead. So this classroom is very multifunctional. This is where I keep my stationery. I've got my highlighters over here for the pink and green pen. Got my calculators and my remotes. We have a TV in here for a creative writing session. This is where I keep my staplers. My stamps. I've got my rubbers in here, my sharpeners in here, and some pencil holders for some of the children to help with their letter formation. My pencils, my scissors, my pens, some colour pencils, pens, whiteboard pens. You can never have enough of these as a teacher. My hole puncher, my stapler, and my sharpeners over there. The heater is on. I also have this section. That's where I keep my stickers for the children that I tutor. I've got my camera stand. This is where I keep all my laminated sheets to help them with their spellings, alphabet mats for dictionary work. More stationery, random stationery thing, yeah. Rulers. This is a meter stick that my dad gave me. It's what he used when he was a child, and he's kept it for all these years. So old school. It's cool, right? I have another one of these as well over here when I'm teaching children about centimetres and metres. And my sister bought me that for my birthday. That's in her video. And this one just has papers. Got scrap paper here. Children can use to work out their questions. Lined paper, plastics, and some more lined paper. But my plastic laminated sheets and clear pockets, I think. And then this is where I keep the children's tests that they've completed. So I can send these off to the company at the end of each year. And then over here, so it's where I keep my magnetic letters. So when the children need to make words, they can use this, use the magnetic letters to make words. For example, if they wanted to make the word mum, they'll go to M. U. Mum. And then I also have my clock on the wall as well. So that's all I really have to say about my classroom. That's what it looks like, that's what we do in here. If you want to find out more about some of my areas, you want a bit more of a detailed explanation, then leave a comment down below.